Dear Recruits, here your life applications officer. Let's talk some black crap today. Black crap. I was just watching a video of one of America's top false, as they claim, heretic black pastors explain why he needs to be a Republican versus the other pastor as to why he needs to be a Democrat. Well, this pastor wanted to be a Republican only for one reason, because he didn't like being in a box. And I agree with him, but even if the Republican Party was a box, and Jesus is a box, the Bible says, do not love the world nor the things of the world. That's putting you in a box. You're not allowed to love or engage or participate in a lot of things of the world. You're not allowed to participate as a Christian, whether you be black, white, or whatever race you be. You're not allowed to participate in their fornications. You're not allowed to participate in their homosexualities. You're not allowed to participate in abortion. You're not allowed to participate in mixing religions and mixing, and if you mix cultures, there has to be a limit there of what that culture contains that affects your culture. If that culture affects what seems to be normal, if that culture affects something that takes away or adds to your Christianity, so to speak, okay, then you cannot mix those cultures. And as a child, I was taught that, well, first of all, let me say why we vote Republican. We vote Republican because we are in a box. We believe in this box. We believe in this box that says this is America and this over here is not. It doesn't matter what race I am. If I choose, I have a choice to live in 2024. I have a choice whether to live in America or live somewhere else. It's no longer, oh, what are we going to do with these slaves? You ain't going to do nothing with these slaves. These slaves get to make up their own minds. Again, it's no longer, what are we going to do with these slaves? What are we going to do about these slaves? No, these slaves, these former slaves, these aftermath of slavery, because none of y'all were slaves. I wasn't, and neither were you. I'm 58 years old. My mama wasn't a slave. My grandmother went through some of the aftermath of slavery. Most of us never been even through the civil rights movement or, the Civil War, none of that. Okay, and we never seen a plantation other than an ancient plantation, a place that used to be a plantation. My job owns former plantations. And I went up to one of the hotels affiliated with my job packet, or however you put it, that's affiliated with my work, okay? I went up to one of their resorts, actually. And a guy that I work with, a black gentleman, said, that used to be a plantation. So how you know that? Before I went up there. And so finally one day I happened to be on vacation taking a ride to one of my favorite spots here in PA, and I stopped up there in the mountains to see this resort. I immediately remembered a movie that was kind of like in the vein of like Roots, that movie. I remembered this place, and I'm like, that is a plantation. They remodeled a plantation into a hotel, and they turned what the cotton picking fields and all that stuff into a golf course. Now, when I pulled up on the place, a white man was out there training some people outside. A couple of them were black, everybody else was like Asian or something. And he was training these people or taking them on a trip inside the building. He was either training them to work for us, or he was training them to he was either training them to work for us, or he was training them to, by taking them on a tour, to know what our affiliation is and blah 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 blah. It doesn't bother me that that used to be a plantation, as long as it's not a plantation right now. And the man was suspicious of me when I went up there, because he knows in that town there's not many black people at all. The black people that work there come from another town. We still struggle with that here in my state, where there's a lot of cities that used to be sundown cities. And so even though they don't do sundown BS anymore, okay, they still want those neighborhoods to be predominantly white, or, but anybody can relocate from anywhere and live in those cities, even though those cities used to be sundown or used to be all white neighborhoods. So, in most cases, they have their ways. I don't know if they use it as an intimidation or how they do it, but they have their ways of making black folks feel uncomfortable in their cities and pass through and say, we don't want to stay here, we don't want to live here, we don't want a vacation here, or whatever, and move on. These places don't get picked, and they lose money for this. These people rather be, and there's no rich neighborhoods in 2024 that black people are not allowed in, or black people are made to feel uncomfortable in. If the neighborhood is poor, then yes, it's easy for people to be racist in those neighborhoods. Usually it's poor white people. Poor, lazy white people. Usually racist white people got more in common with black ghettos than they do with wealthy white people. This is why Donald Trump, it wouldn't make sense for Donald Trump to be racist, because Donald Trump's not looking at life based on his, the color of his stature. He's basing his life based on money and power. Okay? And he knows that if a black man, from spending so much time with black people in Hollywood and spending so much time with black people and watching black people go from, 100 heirs to thousandaires to millionaires to billionaires, okay, he knows from being in that camp right there, he's not going to look at black people by the color of their skin. He's going to look at them by their wallet. He's going to look at them by how they have obtained money. There's one thing you can do in this world, and it's biblical. You can do in this world that makes you look very smart. And when you get to this place, people don't care if you went to college or not. They think you're smart because you did this. If you gain wealth, if you're able to call yourself a millionaire, or if you're able to put yourself in a predicament where people describe you as a millionaire, people will see you as having arrived. They will see you as smart because you have arrived in that place where you can accumulate wealth. You can be a millionaire because you chose to be. What people don't understand is none of us really choose to be a millionaire. Millions of us try every day and fail. But some of us get lucky. And a lot of times that's because it was handed down to us by people that are there, or people in our family that are there. Or it's because there was a need and we filled it and we reaped the millions to go with it. We didn't know that need had that much of a price tag on it. That's just like, if you own a car business selling cars, okay, and you got into this because you like cars, not because you want to sit there at a desk all day and sell cars, but you had all these cars. You just love cars that much, and you started fixing and selling cars, okay, and then you found out about the books, because if you're going to sell, you got to know what the book says, okay, and people started coming to you because of your location and the need of that community. People started coming to you to get cars. You were selling like so many cars a day. Then you realize that you don't even have to be there. You can pay people through what you're making from the cars, to sell cars for you. You can sit at home and just make sure everything comes to your computer chip and give it a couple years and boom, am I a millionaire? It's possible. If you're getting in good cars and you got people to make sure those cars are built underneath to be good cars, and you're giving a good price on those cars, and people are constantly coming in every day. If you're selling, 5 to 10 cars a day or more, you're going to, that adds up. That adds up. Okay. Same thing with any product. And I think the biggest part of capitalism is when you can buy something or take over something, even if it's for $1. Like when these malls close down, they a lot of times they'll let you buy them for $1 if you got all the credentials of a millionaire. Okay, like the right to sell, the right to buy certain things, the insurance, the bonding and all that kind of stuff, and they'll let you. They'll sell you that hotel for free. What they don't tell you is that they'll let you buy for $1 or $5 or whatever. They were going to sell Pittsburgh Mills for $1. I don't think they did it yet. The newest mall here in Pennsylvania, they were going to sell it for $1. It went downhill that quick. And several people went to buy it for $1 and they fell. Because you can't just get up there some joker off the street and buy the place for $1. You have to be someone in the business arena. in order to buy a mall for $1. You got to already probably have some businesses of your own running already. You have to have status as a business person. You can't just go in there, the typical guy off the street, and go and buy a mall for $1. No, you're not. It's not really the dollar that they're looking at. Or a homeless man. Homeless people be owning malls all over the world, in every city. Okay? Not really the dollar that they're looking at. It's your right to buy it for $1. Your credentials to buy it for $1. That's what that's for. And so, in this world, we as Americans have to have credentials. Now, I do believe there is some profiling where in certain towns and cities, and it does keep their city safe. Let's not act like it doesn't. It does keep their cities, their towns safe. We'll say towns. All cities are loaded with urban people. Like, all cities are loaded with multiple races. All cities. But there's a lot of little towns that are wealthy. There's a lot of rich towns out there. There's more rich towns than there are rich cities. Okay? Because only a few people have to own the whole structure, come together and own the whole structure in order for it to be a rich town. Whereas in a city, there's a big game plan, and the floor plan is like huge, and it's, and the problem is you're bringing all these ideas in there, and some of them ain't very American, and it causes cities here in America to become sanctuary cities, or become cities where they have a lack of police presence, or the police are out there just doing a horrible job, or the police aren't trained to do their jobs right in the first place. And for some odd reason, black folks are always a problem whenever cities aren't strong in culture and in financial power. And when I say culture, I mean everybody's culture becomes one culture. One thing here about America, I must say, is that when Americans go to foreign countries, two words come out of their mouth, especially white people. Two words come out of their mouth. Learn the language, respect the culture. Learn the language, respect the culture. But when people come here to America, they don't do that. Another thing is, when white folks go over to foreign countries, okay, who do they hang out with? Do they hang out with all white people? No, they hang out with whatever people are there, especially if the people are a peaceful people. So if white people go to Africa, their neighbors are African and they hang out with Africans. Okay? If they go to the Middle East, they hang out with Middle Eastern people. They go drinking and they go everywhere with Middle Eastern people. They do everything with Middle Eastern people. Some of them even become Islamic. Okay? There's a lot of white Islamic people who left America and went to the Middle East because they learned the Arab culture and became Islamic, and they feel they'd be better celebrating Islam in the Arab nations and in the Islamic nations than they would here in the States. Okay? White people go to China, Japan, anywhere in the continent of Asia. It's the language, it's the culture. They even say it about Hawaii, which is its own country. People are still saying within the state within the country of America, Hawaii is treated like its own country. Even today, it's treated like its own country within the country of the United States. I haven't seen the presidents go to Hawaii at all within the 4 years. Tell me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen Biden say or do or go to do with anything. Kamala, Trump, neither three of them went to Hawaii this year or dealt with Hawaii. You might have heard some things about Hawaii in the news, and it's like it doesn't matter who is running for president. Hawaii always stays the same. But you don't see hardly the presidents getting on a plane and landing in Hawaii. I do believe Trump did go to Hawaii. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he did go to Hawaii his first time running. He did do a rally in Hawaii. I'd have to look it up. But that is the problems we're having with foreigners being in our country, because they segregate when they come to our country. They segregate, and they segregate, they stick to their own, they refuse, they think it's disrespectful for them to have to learn our language. Now, in some of these countries, these people love to learn the American language in their own country, since they have such a high number of American tourists all the time in their country, and they're always doing business or connecting with Americans in their own country. They've learned the language. One thing that'll make a man or a woman learn language real fast is if they fall in love with a foreigner, whether it be an American foreigner or whether it be a foreigner of another country. They always love to become. They love to learn the language so that they can communicate. And lately, I've made up in my mind that I'm not really interested in going to countries that do not speak English as a second language, because I find the people who have English speaking city names, store names, English speaking names of items, you name it. I find that people like that, or countries like that, I'm sorry, are more friendly to Americans. Okay. But all my life, my story is that, let me repeat that before I go to that. Countries who speak English as much as they speak their own language or more, and they have, like the Philippines. I've never seen a Filipino come over here to the States and have problems with Americans. I never seen a Filipino. Filipinos are people who will at least come over here and try to be friends with white people in our country. Because in their country, they're taught to have respect for white people or Americans, more likely. And go to YouTube, you'll see that there's no black people complaining about racism in the Philippines. There's some isolated incidents where maybe some Filipino guy went out of his way to let a certain black dude, because the black dude was wearing out his welcome in some kind of way. He verbally and show wise showed black people that he's not really a fan of black people. He showed them. So that's that. But all my life, one of the things that has made me the kind of American that I am is proof that racism is not a white thing. And two things have made me a different American than most of my black counterparts. Number one, that racism is not a white thing. And racism is based on fear and not so much just this guy's breaking into my neighbor's house. Now, from what I understand, there's 3 women that live there. Well, there's 2 women that live over there. There's 2 women that live there. This guy comes. He's knocking. They don't answer, so he go get something to get through the door. Give me a second. Looked like he had a plunger in his in a bag, but he seemed like he's trying to hit the door with it. Let me get out of the business. I don't know what that was about. And then I know with the 2 women over there, there's 3 of them. There's a woman and her 2 daughters, but there's some shabby people that could go over there. I mean, shabby people of different races and stuff too. Okay, so they got something going on. Okay. Anyway, getting back to this, all my life. All right, here he is again. Okay. Maybe he's maintenance. Because he just went and got a big old giant set of keys, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me get out of people's business. Anyway. All my life, the things that have shown me, that have pushed me, that have compelled me to be a different American than most of my black counterparts is these things here. Number one, understanding how racism works and why it works. Understanding, actually doing a class, sitting down and talking about racism. Racism is not someone disliking you because they understand your poverty or they understand. No. Someone doesn't like you, it's because they don't understand. They don't understand your predicament. Okay? That, number one. Number two, proof that white people and black people can dwell together in peace, and they don't have to have differences. They can share all in the same thing. You know, I've had friends that I went to camp with, and black people kill me with this, because they'll sit around at home, you know, and it's usually because, you know, white people do all these things for them. They'll sit around at home, get around the table of Thanksgiving Day or whatever, and say, well, black people and white people are really different. You got to admit, we're really different, dude. Like, white, some things are just white, you know. But white people will tell you to your face that black people and white people are different. And I've had white people talk to me about interracial relationships. I've had white people, you know, I met a woman one day, and this is all in a Christian vein. See, that's the other thing. I never really spent enough time in the secular world, okay, to say these things. Everything that I'm telling you is the Christian world with a little bit of the devil's little tidbits slipping in there because of certain people and stuff like that. I've never lived my life in a completely secular vein where everything is about the people and whatever godly or demonic ideas they come up with. I've lived my life in a vein where it's what the godly people come up with. And sure, this knucklehead over here got some tidbits that he want to throw in there. We're all going to ignore him or her. We're all going to ding this person as, go get your life right and come back. And then you can talk to us about who's racist and who's not. That's the kind of world I live in. If you can't even go get a job, don't talk to me about how racist somebody is. If you think somebody owes you something, if you think a lot of crap because you got a chip on your shoulder, you think somebody owes you something, it bothers you to see people happy because they're white. But then, what about the day when they were all black? You didn't like seeing the black people happy either, because you don't have what they have. So you were using, yesterday, you were using white people as a reason to be jealous. You don't want to call it that. You gave it a different name, but you're jealous. And we know that because today, black people are different today, and they're living somewhat different. They're living the same thing. They're romantic. They're going up to Lover's Moon. They're spending $1,000 vacation or a $5,000 vacation, whatever. They're driving a nice car. They're you know what I mean. They're and the man and the woman they're beautiful and handsome and romantic, and you're there getting jealous. You're willing to shoot somebody over it because someone didn't get out of your way fast enough, or they were backing up while you were walking forward and they bumped you, or you felt to just randomly walk up to some couple on the street and asked for a slice of their pizza and they said no. So you killed a couple. In the same form of attitude that you use to hate on white people, you use to hate on everybody. The same attitude that you use. And I've learned, you know, in the whole Trump saga, you know, I've learned that the black people hating Trump is different than white people hating Trump. And my problem with white people in Trump is that white people lie about Trump and they know they're lying. And when wasn't no black folks around, they would tell me to my face. They would laugh and say, hey, well, you know, come on. I mean, he said it. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, okay. He might be all right, but I just don't, you know. He might be all right, but you just still don't like the guy. But you got my brother walking out of the building ready to choke somebody over Trump. You know, for example, a white man can go into the ghettos. He can go into white ghettos, and many of those exist. I live around them. Many of those exist. But a white man can go into a white ghetto with a Trump hat on. And the poor white people ain't going to lynch him for wearing a Trump hat. But a black man can go into... Here he is again. Oh, he did say maintenance. Okay, I think she's over there 11 minutes. See, I just look out for my neighbors like that, you know. They be having the bummiest looking people around here doing maintenance. Okay, so obviously she has a toilet clog, and the two girls one's in college, and I don't know what the other girl does. The other girl, I think, lives with her boyfriend. The oldest one or the youngest one lives with mom, and the other one's doing whatever. And the mom is over there by herself most of the time. Anyway, don't tell me that, you know, it's just like, if white people are so bad, and if white people are so rich and so prosperous, and they all have it good, they always have it better, why do I have a white neighbor? Like this. And I'm wondering if they not only smoke weed, but they sell it. Or they sell something stronger, because I've seen some weird characters walking up on their door. You let her in, you know. You let him? Okay. Let me get back to it. So there's the culture of America. And white people understand that that's where they want to get to. And that culture involves capitalism. That culture involves freedom from crime. When white people, and I find out that me and a lot of white people think alike. That's why I talk like I do about black people, because when I deal with black people, I see the same things white people do. Like, why can't we all be the same? Why can't we all ride the bus? Why, you know, like, why does a bunch of people going to work have to be terrifying? people getting on the subway, people getting on a bus. Look at any YouTube channel or any social media channel. Look at television. Who's doing crime on subways and buses? Because white people can get on the bus or the subway. Not all, but most. Not all, but most. Can get on the subway or the bus. And it doesn't matter whether they're rich or whether they're poor. One thing they're not going to do is assault someone or make someone feel uncomfortable. Or come in there on the bus acting like the bus is their second home. They're going to take their shoes off or whatever and get very super comfortable on the bus, even if that means you don't get to sit down. They're going to get comfortable. All my life, I've seen black people. Here's another reason why I'm a different black American. All my life, I've seen black people especially when sharing the neighborhood with white people. And I don't know where they get this from, but they always make white people feel uncomfortable. If they get on the bus, you got these women on the bus there in their skirts, and they're getting ready to cut through the ghetto on the bus into town, into another ghetto, and they're going to get off the busway in another ghetto, and they're going to wait there for another bus to take them to a higher plane of town, to where they have executive work, or a lot of them work downtown Pittsburgh. I used to ride the bus with some very, 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 very nice neighbors. Okay. Coming from a racist town, the same part of town where a dude, every time I had to work at night in that town, he would ride by in a red Plymouth Sundance. I think it was a red. I think Sundance belongs to Plymouth, or I think it was Plymouth Sundance. I'm not sure. Dodge Sundance? I'm not sure. I had a Sundance. I once had a Sundance. But this guy ran past me in the same car. Almost the same exact year, make, and model as mine. And obviously, this is just recently, so that Sundance is old. They don't make they haven't made Sundances in a long time, so he bought that Sundance used. But obviously he's broke in a middle class town. He would see me walking to work, and he would ride by at night and call me the N-word. Now, I've seen this guy at the ice cream shop. I've seen that red Plymouth Sundance parked at the ice cream shop, and this guy trying to take some girl out to get ice cream. And I'm in the line with all these white people trying to get ice cream. And these white people are looking behind me, and, there's a lot of... And it doesn't really bother me as much as it bothers other black people, because your town has always been anti-black. Nobody black works in your town. Nobody black lives in your town, and when they do, but you never see them. And you share a school district with black people, and it's always black people that are calling black kids, that are always calling the race card. Everything is white racism. And you got both. You got people like the guy that will ride by me every night and call me the N-word. Any guy that rides by you in a car and calls you the N-word. Matter of fact, I think any person, any white person, that would randomly call a black person the N-word without an argument or a fight or the black man doing something bad to him or whatever, if he calls you the N-word, he's armed. Don't try to get physical. He wouldn't say it if he can't just pull out his gun and shoot you and call it self-defense. If someone just randomly calls you the N-word, they got more going for them than these. They got either a big old knife, okay, or a big old 9, lodged in a book bag or their pants or somewhere they're holding, Okay. You bring certain black people can go anywhere they want to go. They can go anywhere they want to go. And they're not black people like me that's 5'3.5", who's going to dress in jeans and a jersey like this or something like that. No, they're going to be black kids, black youngins that are normal height, okay, with the dreads and the hoodie and all that kind of stuff. They walk up into your hillbilly neighborhood, into your white hillbilly neighborhood. The only people that will be out there watching are the hillbillies that got guns, and they've been waiting for this moment. They've been waiting for you to try this in a small town. And it's really bad for worse for white people. The fear of racism is worse for white people than it is for black people. I've been to places where they say, "Oh, you want to see something funny, D-Roy? Go to this neighborhood." So I went down there. I'm on E. Can't get gas because the guy don't want to serve me gas in his town. And I ride through the neighborhood, and a guy sees that there's a black guy driving a nice car. It's a nice car. It wasn't no bummy car. It's a nice car in his neighborhood. Nicer than any of the people in that neighborhood drive their cars because the neighborhood's kind of poor. Like I said. Guy saw me and he saw that I'm black and he ran and got a shotgun. I knew he wasn't going to shoot me. He just scared. For whatever philosophy they're taught. That the only reason why I would ride through their neighborhood is for one reason. And that is to cause trouble. Okay? So I pull over to check my GPS to see if I can find another gas station. This guy's telling me the gas station is closed, but now I'm seeing car after car line up to get gas. This is a very old, rundown gas station, but it's the only one in that little town, okay? Everything else, you go to any other BP station, everything is like, digital. Where this is the old-fashioned, you can't pump your own gas. Somebody got to pump it for you. They don't trust you to pump your own gas. You're not going to stick a credit card at the pump, okay? You're not going to pull out a credit card at the pump. You can pull it out at the window or inside. That's the law today. They can't say we accept cash only anymore unless they are a private gas station that doesn't have any franchise. But this was a rundown BP station, okay? It was the oldest. It goes back in time to like maybe the first BP station. And then I'm sitting there and I look. There's a sign there. The kind with the little red going across it. Said no niggers. Whoa. I don't understand why I did not take a picture of the sign. Black folks, this is what you need to do when you run into situations like this. You need to take a picture and put it on the news. And hopefully some white politician or black politician or NAACP politician, somebody, will look at that and say, no, we're not having it. And they will. And today in 2024, now I got to admit, that's one of the things that the Democratic Party is good for, is making towns share their property and their space, and putting towns under scrutiny if they decide that they don't want certain people living there or whatever. But on the flip side of that, what they're doing here at Charleroi here in my state, Charleroi is about like an hour or less away from here. They moved all them Haitians in there. Okay. Giving them driver's license when they ain't passed the driving test. They running things over and flipping cars over and all that kind of stuff. And they're eating the dogs or eating the cats. Eat the cats. Eat the cats. Eat the cats. You can make fun of Donald Trump all you want to. Them ain't Trump supporters over there saying that they're eating the dogs, eating the cats, and crying about it at the same time. Those aren't Trump supporters ending up in jail for pulling a knife on somebody because this person killed their cat or their dog. You can laugh about that all you want to. But my biggest problem with black people is that it's all about us. It's all about us when white people are being kind and sweet. It's all about us when white people are being kind and bad. White people are not the only people that can be racist. Everybody is racist towards black people, even black people. I'm racist against black people just for voting for Donald Trump. Just for being a Republican, I'm racist against black people. And that's where black people can kiss my you-know-what. Because what you're doing is you're trying to use the same gimmicks that you claim white people are using against you to control me. You don't want me to be better than you. Because when we get in an argument, well, what did Trump do wrong? What are Trump's policies versus Biden-Harris policies? What do you say? You go, oh, he said this and he said that. What did he do? What did he say? Okay, what did he say? What did he say he's going to do that has anything to do with your black behind? Oh, he's going to send us back to Africa. He said he's going to send your black behind back to Africa. You're more racist to your own self than white people are. You say some garbage like that. Why would anybody send us back to Africa in 2024? Anybody. Why would Hitler send us back to Africa in 2024? Do you know how much white people need us to buy weaves, and Chinese people need us to buy weaves? They need us to buy Hennessy, orange soda, chicken. Chicken will go on strike, orange soda, watermelon. It's funny because I don't eat none of that stuff. I think that stuff makes you black. I don't eat none of that stuff. Like, I eat watermelon when I go to a black cookout. Or, you know, I'm around my family or something like that. They get watermelon. Ooh, I ain't had watermelon today. Just give me a little piece of that. No, don't give me that whole big thing. Just give me a little piece, you know. Watermelon, orange soda, I don't drink no orange soda. I used to drink Cherokee Red. That was another black favorite. I drink coffee like a normal white man. I drink coffee all year around. Coffee. All year round like a normal black man. That's why a lot of white people don't get prostate cancer as much as black people do. Because, white people drink more coffee. It's a fact. All these white people out here that say, well, I don't really like coffee, I like soda. They still drink coffee. On a cold day, at least, they get with grandpa and sit on the porch and drink coffee. Yeah, I guess it's pretty good with some extra sugar in it. It's just habits that make us different. Habits about how we eat and drink, which is going to make black folks look stupid. Just because it tastes good. And you're better cooking something that tastes good but ain't good for you. Should you really be giving credit? Well, okay, I'll give you credit for that. Big Mama, I'll give you credit for that. Because I'll tell you what, when I want to eat some chicken and some mac and cheese and some greens, okay, that's sodium, like that movie, The Cookout. I love it. I have a copy of it. When I want to eat like that, okay, I'm going down to the Black District. Okay, I'm going to Big Mama's house, which they closed it down. I'm going somewhere I'm going down to the ghetto, okay, and get me some real food, okay. But we say that's real food, but it's not real food. Broccoli is real food, lightly cooked. Okay, that's real food. Okay, potatoes that have been rinsed. No extra salt, no frying, or lightly frying. You fry them in something better like olive oil or a little bit of coconut oil or something like that. You don't deep fry them. Okay, food not deep. Baked food over fried food is good food, good eating. Whether you're white or black, it doesn't matter. Black people today are learning how to bake chicken instead of fry it. And they found out that not only does it taste better, even though it takes longer to cook, it tastes better. And it's better for you, and it feels better going down. Okay? They're learning how to steam cook vegetables, which makes the vegetables better for you and easier to digest. Okay? And leave some nutrients in the vegetables when you eat them. They find out that you can eat too much watermelon. You can drink too much orange soda. Watermelon is not really a good thing is not on the list of good things for diabetics. Orange soda is not on there at all. I'm just using those as examples. Sodium's not on there. Sodium, Big Mama's house, mac and cheese and fried chicken like that is horrible for a black person that's on high blood pressure medication or got high blood pressure. But in closing this video out, my point is that at the end of the day, black people have no country to go back to. It ain't Africa. Stop saying you from Africa. No, you passed through Africa and they took you as slaves. I agree with the Hebrew Israelites. We're more related to the Israelites or the Jews or somewhere around that part of the world than we are Africans. But there is no difference between you being patriotic about your country that you live in because you lived here all your life. You don't know any other country. You speak this language, you eat this food, you know what white people smell like and what they look like. You know and use these products to bathe in, to medicate yourself, you name it. Sure, you could go to Africa, but you already live here. You've been living here for, and black people have never ever had to have a green card. They've never ever had to, and God strike white people for acting like we're minorities in our own country. I will admit. Like, if you know that I'm a black American, which means I'm an American, you know I'm not Arab, or you know that I'm not from Asia, or I'm not from, Africa. I'm black. And I speak English. And I understand your English because we both went to the same type of school. How dare you treat me like, oh, here we got minorities in our town now. I wonder if we can, white people, please stop doing that. Please stop. Just stop. Stop acting like when we are outnumbered by you need to make a distinction. Please stop doing that. Because it's going to turn into a civil unrest. Stop doing that. If you see a black person in your presence, for whatever reason he feel comfortable around you, don't take offense. He's probably waking up to some things. That's why he decides that he don't need to bring 20 other black people to be around you. He's learning some things. He's catching on to some things. Let it go until he starts acting a fool. You please stop tripping, okay? And black people, there is no way anybody's going to ever send you back to Africa. There is no way that all these white people that are breathing your fart juice every day, that are breathing your, whatever you're drinking, whatever you're eating, they're eating at the same restaurant you're eating. They're going into a restaurant and they're letting black people tell them how to eat and where to eat, where to sit, where they can sit. Okay? White people are working. You're working. White people. At restaurants and stores and shops and you name it, where black people are in charge and they're telling you what to do. You're making your income in this day and time, and everybody should be taking note of this. You're making your income off of a group of people that are predominantly black. And this is how you're paying your bills. We are past, the civil rights movement. Stop it. We're past slavery and the plantation. We're past Jim Crow. Jim Crow is dead. And this goes for both black people and white people. We're past Jim Crow. We're past the civil rights. Let it go. Let black people be black people within the limits of being Americans. And black people, you're going to do the same thing for white people. White people don't need to change for your black behind. No, you need to evolve, black people. You need to evolve. But white people don't need to change for you. We don't need to listen to more rap music than we already do. Rap music is making a fortune. We don't need to listen to more rap music. We don't need to eat more unhealthy food just because it tastes better. We don't need to sag our pants. We don't need to speak any Ebonics because it sounds cooler. We don't need to go into the city and tear it up. And you too dumb to realize that half the businesses in that city are owned by black people. But you're making everything a white and black thing. And this goes for both blacks and whites. Stop. Either stop or get out of my country. Because white people, you got all kinds of nations to go back to. You got the whole continent of Europe as well as the UK to take your white behind back to. And you got family out there. A lot of y'all even know the language. And you'll fit right in. Black people, you got nowhere to go. You're not going to fit in with Africans unless you go out there and actually try to be African. You're not going out there to be black. You're going out there to be African. Or Jamaican. Or, the Caribbean or wherever, Dominican Republic, whatever. But you're going to fit in with them. The very thing that you would not do here with white people, you're going to do it in another brown-skinned nation. And you're going to find out when you go live there for a while and you bring your butt back here to the States. Okay? You could have did what you did there. You could have did that here. It's just like all these black people will go to Germany and they'll go to the Dominican Republic. They'll go to the Philippines and they'll go here, they'll go there. And they'll say, oh, it's better for black people. Right. But you not getting arrested in the Philippines. You ain't even smoking weed in the Philippines, dude. You ain't walking around with your pants sagging in the Philippines, acting a fool. You ain't over in Germany or China acting a fool. You ain't over there preaching Black Lives Matter in China or Japan or the UK or Europe. You ain't doing that. Do that like you do here and see if you don't get treated just the same. You ain't walking around with no shirt that says Black Lives Matter on one side and it's all about us on the back. You ain't wearing that garbage out there. Because if you did, I know a lot of Asian people will put you in a chokehold and rip that shirt right off you. And say, get your act together or get out my country. How much money are we making on these Black Lives Matter t-shirts, which is, to me, a holocaust. It's racist garbage. Oh, we can be racist, but you can't call us racist because we're black. So whatever we do to white people, always remember that we were once slaves. No, you weren't. Your ancestors were slaves. And if your ancestors were still here, they'd slap you silly. You've never been a slave. You don't know what that's like. Neither do I. You may know some tidbits, some little birdies giving rumors. That's all you got. You got that and some lovely little books out there that are selling like hotcakes to keep people in an uproar, to keep people angry. I don't read that garbage. The Learning Tree was the best black book about slavery I ever read. Why? Because slavery was only in there for a minute to let you know that it existed. The rest of it was about a black girl's romantic love for a black boy in the midst of a time where black families were being separated from each other. And the women didn't know how to treat the men, and the men didn't know how to treat the women because we were separated because of slavery, and even going into the Jim Crow days, we were separated. Okay? And this book was where this boy and this girl found the love for each other in the midst of that time period. They had a very strong romantic relationship. And the book went from mentioning slavery to becoming a romance novel. And it was telling the true story. Okay? Of a woman who went through hell with relationships and children and the things that come from slavery and all that stuff, I believe the Learning Tree was telling the truth. Compared to a lot of stuff we read today, that is this history or is this something one person passed down to you from another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another? Which is it? But I haven't done any videos for this channel, so I figured I'd do this one today. I figured I'd do this one today for this channel. But I'm proud to be an American, and I'm proud to be a conservative, not because black people are conservatives, not because black people tell me what to do. I'm proud to be all these things because slavery is over. You cannot stop racism. Racism is every man, every woman's right to dislike somebody else because of stereotypes that they feel keep them safe, period, from all things. If they think that if they have stereotypes about certain people, then that makes their Friday and Saturday night more safer. But then there's things like, one time me and a security guard, there was this fine little, tiny, little 5-foot white girl, hair all the way down to her hips, juicy black hair all the way down to her hips. And we're doing security. Now, I gotta admit, the big tall guy was talking and he was standing too close to her and all like that. We're officers, and we're there because we got to wait on y'all to get done doing what y'all doing so we can fix a machine or whatever, okay? But this girl was like, the Oreo cookie thing. And I'm thinking, woman, I'm not afraid to tell your cute little behind or ask your cute little behind if you like Oreo cookies. Don't do the Oreo cookie thing like we're trying to make you into an Oreo cookie when we're just doing our job. We're on the clock. Now, if we were doing this at the subway or the, outside of the bus stop or something, or in, or in a candy store or something, and there's one line and we're making it two because we're trying to make you an Oreo cookie, that might be different. But you were trying to pretend, you were trying to act like there's a problem when there's no problem. And there's a lot of white people like that. And I work for white people like that. I even meet white people in church that are like that. But it's always worse with black people. And black women don't have a problem with a bunch of white boys, especially if they Tom Cruise looking white boys coming around them making a squirrel cookie out of them. Okay? Unless she that ugly. Okay? Excuse my French, I shouldn't say that. But black women don't mind. They don't mind when white men come out of their usual comfort zone and want to get to know the black girl and try to breathe her air, try to smell her perfume. They don't mind. Okay? But black women treat black men the same way a lot of white women coming from racist neighborhoods treat black men. And everything's about you. Oh, you think I'm gonna make an Oreo cookie out of your black behind? No, that's a Oreo chocolate cookie, ma'am. Okay? You ain't white. So quit acting like, oh, I got a black man here and a black man here. Why y'all standing so close to me? Probably because, first of all, you think that unless a black man is going out of his way to show you what's going on with his libido, and that libido has to have something to do with you, you get offended. regardless if you're attracted to him or not. You just think that every black man got to be up in your face about something. Number one. Number two, we're allowed to do our job around you just like we're allowed to do our job around a white woman. If you don't want to be an Oreo cookie or a chocolate cookie, stop being the white or the chocolate in the middle. Move up in the line, broad. Move up. We got work to do. You're holding us up. We want to punch out sometime today too. But I believe in being a conservative American because conservatism goes above everybody's flamboyant, cry me a river beliefs, or their flamboyant, I'm a victim beliefs. It goes beyond that and says we're going to do justice for all equally, everywhere, from the cops to the capitalism. We're going to do justice equally for all. If you got it, you get it. If you don't got it, you don't get it. That goes for white, black, and everybody else. And another thing I'm sick of, and this is what I love about Donald Trump because he's sick of it too. I'm sick and tired of people coming into our country. They don't even like us. They don't even think that they owe it to us to learn enough language for them to get from A to B. But we give them free stuff. We make it so easy for them. But I go over to my favorite foreign country. I can't own property. I can't own a car. People come over our country and buy a house, buy a car, buy a whole, own businesses, own property all over the place. And they don't even like us. Starting with white people. The only difference between the black man and the white man when foreigners come to our country is they'll smile in a white man's face. The black man will be like, "What's up? What's up, dog? What's going on?" And it's a shame. People can be in interracial relationships and still be racist. How do you join in on saying certain things when you're married to a white woman? How do you say certain things when you're married to a black man? How do you let certain things come out of your mouth? Shout out to the Nicodiva lady who is a Filipina, beautiful Asian, lovely, from head to toe, beautiful Asian girl that's married to an African man. And she is not just married to him, she is married to his culture, his family, everything. And he is married to hers as well. And you want to piss her day off? Let somebody ask her husband too many questions. Let somebody treat her husband like they got to do a check on everything. And they didn't do a check on all these white people behind them. And some of that could be a race card because a lot of Asian people hook up with anything but a white man. That's the flip side of that. Because most of the time they worship white people. But a lot of Asian women will hook up with anything but a white man. And then get together with black people and call it a race card and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that white people are that bad. It just means that whatever experiences you've been through, you used it to judge everybody. That goes for black people too. It doesn't mean that all white people are that bad. And it doesn't mean that racism is that prevalent. What it means is that you have used a few experiences that you have had to go through in life, and we all go through them. I go through them every day. But I don't use them to go back in my past and call all my teachers white. I mean, all my teachers racist. Well, I don't use that to go to church and call my pastor racist. I don't use that to go to work and call all of my managers and supervisors racist. But I judge people by their fruit. That's what the Bible says. You don't judge a person even if you think they got a white problem. I judge a person by their fruit, not by the color of their skin. And that's whether you white, black, Indian, Arab, Chinese, Japanese, Latino, Mexican, whatever you are. I judge people by their character and their fruit, not the color of their skin, regardless of what they do. God bless you. I am D. Roy Cruz. I am your Life Applications Officer. I will call myself that today on this particular channel because I'm putting something that I usually put on another channel on this channel. Today I want to put it on this channel because I'm not just speaking to black people. I'm speaking to all of us. We all need to stop with the shenanigans. Right now, forever. God bless you.